This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yeah. Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yo, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show. Oh, on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, man. That's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show, Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style.
Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call them and let them know.
Culture, probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Gary. Yeah.
Welcome aboard. Yes, sir. It's a Super Saturday. We are on. We're at Canesware. As you can see behind us, all the loveliness that is the orange and green from the Canes. You can see it behind us at Canesware, although they do have stuff for the Miami Heat, the Miami Marlins, Inter Miami, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers. So you can actually get all kinds of stuff here at Canesware. I know that I'm going to go in there in a little bit and probably get in trouble and buy something, because I always buy something when I'm here at Canesware. It's just one of those things. It's a place that you go, you come to, and you find out it's kind of you're like, wait a minute, dude, did I die? Because this is heaven, and that's kind of what you feel like almost. But anyway, welcome aboard. Good afternoon, since we just hit the top of the hour.
You know my line. Just one of everything. That's all.
That would be
one
nice.
of everything.
That would be nice. That would be very, very nice. So we appreciate those of you checking in with us on a beautiful Saturday. We'll be out here for a couple of hours. We got David Furones from the Sun Sentinel. He's going to join us to talk some Canes. Alan Poupart from Sports Illustrated will join us to talk a little Dolphins. Franco Panizo, he actually lives close by. He's going to drop in at 1:30 to join us to talk a little Inter Miami. So we got a loaded show for you today on a beautiful Saturday. And I got to tell you something. I'm looking forward to the Canes game tonight at 8 o'clock because I love the Canes. But I have to admit this, and I don't know how many of you are like me. I don't really give a crap about this college football season. I really don't. I have no respect for this season because it's just, you're not really earning a championship. I mean, the debate is, how can we rig Ohio State to get into the playoffs? I mean, it's just, because they can't play enough games. They got the Michigan thing now, whatever. It's just, to me, college football this year is such a farce. The only thing I'm grateful is that we've been able to watch the Canes and get Rhett Lashley here, and hopefully that will turn things around for the Canes down the line. I'm hoping that maybe the success this year starts to roll over, and I start to get more convinced that Manny is the right guy. That's kind of what this season's about for me, because I know my Canes have no shot at a national title. And right now, it just, you don't really know who the four best are. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like if they're sticking in Ohio State or trying to, it's because Ohio State has some of the best talent in the country. And they probably are one of the top four teams. But they really haven't earned the right to be there as one of the top four teams. So it's really, that's why, to me, this is an extraordinarily odd season. And, games are canceled and games are postponed and then they're rescheduled. And some players have opted out. And I just, for me, this season is so discombobulated that I have a hard time really getting into the football season. What I kind of find myself doing, listen, this is weird, okay? What I find myself doing is just scouting the players for the NFL next year. That's kind of what I find. Like, okay, well, that guy might be actually good for the next level. This guy might be good for the next level. Those kind of things. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I look at almost. That guy fits the Dolphins. This guy doesn't. I like that guy for the Dolphins. Like, I mean, every time I see Travis Etienne, it's like, please play for Miami. Please become our starting running back. Okay, please. Flo would love you because you can run and you can catch. You're a multifaceted back. You can make all kinds of plays. That's kind of what I have. The college football season for me this year is not so much about the season. It's about, because I have no respect for the season. So all I do is I find myself trying to scout the players that I'm going to make a list for. And then in the offseason, I mean, we've worked throughout the entire pandemic. We'll just continue to mask up. Okay, we'll keep our distance. And I'm going to drive, actually. I'm not going to go on a plane. I'm going to drive. That's for sure. I'm going to drive. Why? Because it's safer, actually. I'd rather drive and keep the atmosphere controlled. You know what I mean? Whether Jerkball here goes with me or not, or whoever else goes with me, but it'll be the same people that will be around the whole time. So that's what I'm hoping for. So all this kind of stuff, and I would imagine that maybe I will be able to go to the combine because, as time goes on, although I may have to fly to that one, I'll be super masked up for that one. But anyway, so it's just, to me, I've almost ended up with this college football season. I don't know how all of you treat the college football season this year, but it's more about, okay, let's hope the Canes can develop in the right direction, and Manny and Rhett Lashley and the boys can build on for next year, and then let me scout the players that I like for the NFL and especially for our beloved Dolphins. But then the rest I don't care about. I just don't care. It's really weird. It's odd how college football season, man.
It's understandable, man. It's a bastardized version of the norm, man.
Total fat ass asterisk on it, man. Not just a regular asterisk, like a fat ass asterisk that like takes up a third of whatever page it's on. You know what I'm saying?
Like the asterisk there, and then the date is like one-third the size.
Yeah, it is an incredibly bogus college football season, man. So I just have a problem with that. Having said that, let me do a little roll call. Let's see. First, he asked, will we see Tua tomorrow? Have you listened to the show the last 2 days? He's not going to play tomorrow. Don't expect him tomorrow. Josh says, what up, and everybody? NorCal is in. He says, puff, puff, don't give. That's a very good way of doing it. Everybody should roll their own. Do not share.
Or for you, man.
That's true. That's really the positive way of looking at it. You know what I mean? And you don't have your buddy slobbering all over. And you're like, come on, dude. Dennis Akers says, hell yeah, Big O on a Saturday. Hell yeah. You know how it is, man. We grind in this life 7 days a week. We'll be grinding again tomorrow doing the Dolphin postgame show. Remember, you can go to Onside Radio and listen to the postgame show. And I got to say, congratulations to the shows that debuted today on Onside Radio. The Inter-Miami CF Supporter Zone between 8 and 9. I thought the Siege, Vice City, and Southern Legion did a very nice job for their open show. Sean Stanley, the Squared Circle show, which is all wrestling. I thought Sean, especially in the second and third segments, he really lit up and just started to take it to the next level. It was a lot of fun listen to Sean because I know, I've been around Sean now years, and I know his sickness for wrestling, how he loves it, and it was really coming through. And I thought it was really shining in this. I don't like wrestling. I'm not into wrestling whatsoever.
No fake for you, man.
No, but Sean had me going, man. I really enjoyed it because it really, Sean has this real, true love for wrestling. And when you have a passion for something, the listener will feel it. You know what I mean?
You hear him get lit up in just his voice. Yeah, man.
I think you all see it when I talk about the Dolphins and football and local teams, Heat and stuff like that. Same thing.
We see it when you start the show, man. That one day that you were sick, the excitement knocked you out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And so I thought Sean did a great job. So if you're looking for some wrestling talk at 9 a.m. on Saturdays, you've got it there. At 10 a.m., David Dwork did Chirpin' the Cats radio, and he had Bill Lindsay on also, so it was actually a really good listen. I learned something too in the show. I had no idea that Bill Lindsay had the first ever Panthers penalty. Did not know that, actually. So
really?
A 4-4 tie game, the first game of the history of the Panthers, the first penalty in that first period within a couple minutes. It was Bill Lindsay that had the penalty, and he told the story how he was kind of too jacked up or something.
First season, man, 1 point out of the playoffs only.
Yeah, and Bill's not the guy that's really going to be, playing the physical game.
No, of that team, he was the nice guy, so to speak.
The scorer,
He's great on air. I know we've had him a couple times, man. He is awesome.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He was great with David. I thought David did an awesome job. David has great passion for hockey and the Panthers. He plays the game, all that stuff on the side. He covers the team, does a really good job. So Panther fans.
Goalie, right?
Yes.
He's a goalie.
Yes. You will have a home now every Saturday, 10 to 11 with Chirpin' the Cats. You get a little more hockey love also, throughout our station, but specifically in many of the Miami Insiders, George Richards is there. So we got George Richards and David Dwork on our station. So if you're a Panthers fan, again,
damn, bro, you cornered the market, man. You cornered the market.
We are cornering the market.
Yes.
All of us are cornering the market, but no doubt about it. So there you go. So congratulations to all those new shows. Red Card Radio with Austin Robillard will be actually debuting next week. We'll debut at 11 a.m. right after Chirpin' the Cats. And then Jim Rodriguez, the JR Experience from 12 to 2, sports talk. There'll be a lot of gambling talk in those 2 hours. Jim is, he's a bona fide degenerate. And, that's kind of, nothing wrong with that. We all have a little degenerate in us. So Jim will be displaying that degenerate all throughout the show. So make sure you listen to that one on Saturday. So starting next Saturday, we go 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. On Saturday, 6 hours of broadcast. And then on Sunday, we got the Dolphins post-game. Okay, I want to get to the point where we're 6 a.m. to about 2 to 4 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. And that way we got a ton of programming. So we're giving you a station that you can go to 7 days a week to get local programming, okay? Live local programming, which is a beautiful thing, all right? So thank you all out there. Let's see. NorCal says DCC registration open. Who's riding or running for Dolphins Cancer Challenge? So it's a good one. You know what? I should try to see if we can get the station involved and get as many people involved in that. That actually would be a cool thing. Thank you for reminding me, NorCal. Maybe that's something. Lord knows my fat ass needs to get on a bike. Let's see. John Santos says, hey, it's my go-to guy for sports, Big O and Bill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Julius 305 says Saturday edition. Love it. Drew Boo is in. Dennis Aker says, I can't wait to finally meet all you guys at the draft. I hope a lot of Finns fans make it. Oh, they will. They will. Well, hopefully the pandemic is way down by then and the vaccine's all over the place and we could go out there, keep our distance, keep our masks on and enjoy everything else. Let's see. Big O, is that a James Bond mask? Yes. This is my James Bond mask that I got. I'm a huge James Bond fan. So I figured I saw this mask on Amazon, and I got to get it, and I purchased this mask. Yeah, and listen, I like Timothy Dalton. I think he did a nice job overall. You know, this is probably the worst guy here. I wish they would have put right here, okay, Sean Connery or Roger Moore, okay, because those are my favorites, man. You know, it's like, where is it? Look where Sean Connery is, bro. I mean,
he's like what, the cast off?
I mean, it's like, what the hell is that, bro? That's the only thing I disagree with. Like, I would have put Sean here, Roger here, then I'll put what's it called? Pierce Bronson, who's probably my third favorite Bond. You know, I would have put some of these, they don't have the stuff labeled properly. Yeah.
For you, like the one with the fix, it's over here underneath my ear. I'm like,
yeah.
It doesn't even open up. It's all crumpled. You can't even see it.
I know.
You know, come on, man.
I know, but
put a little effort. Put a little effort, baby.
But I still like it. It's a pretty cool Bond mask. I usually get some good comments when I wear it because a lot of people are Bond fans. Hoping Bill, Orlando, and the Big O Show supporters are having a fantastic weekend. Happy holidays, everyone. There we go. I like it, NorCal. Let's see. What else do we have here? What up, Big O and Bill from Fred Soros? Thanks for being on. Just need to hear your voices. Appreciate it. Mike No-Go Zones. Good afternoon, fellas. What a pleasant surprise to see you on a Saturday afternoon. I was listening to Onside this morning to the weekly Panther show. Thank you.
Last time we were here, Mike was one of the guests that showed up.
Yeah, Mike, we got to get you on next week, by the way. I think the best James Bond was the guy in the movie Dante's Peak. Yeah, that's Pierce Bronson. I like Pierce Bronson. I'm with you. I think Pierce Bronson is the most underrated Bond ever.
We waited a long time for him.
That's the way I look at it, okay? Because I obviously, you know, Sean Connery's God in my book, in my eyes. Maybe not everybody, because that's all subjective. But Sean Connery's God. Love Roger Moore. Pierce Bronson is my third guy. Like above all the other guys that have been Bonds, I'm a huge Pierce Bronson fan. I thought he was an excellent Bond.
From the time that it started, the discussion and the talk, what did we wait? Almost a decade for the guy to actually get the job, right? Because of contractual this, that, and I mean, yeah, we waited a lot. Like, there was such speculation. It was like, this guy would be perfect, you know?
Yep. Canes, by the way, favored by 15 tonight. The over and under is 61.5. I am concerned with the 3 weeks off. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's the track record.
You're 100% correct.
His team's rarely ever ready after these long breaks. And so I'm hoping that they come out. You and I know they should kick Duke's ass. I mean, Duke is bad, bro.
2-7.
Yeah, no, they're bad. Have you watched them?
I seen a little bit of them, yes.
Yeah,
every time I've watched, it's like, what's the sense, right?
Yeah, it's bad. So
I mean, some good teams in Dayton, Broward, in high school would absolutely wax Duke.
Yes, and they need to take care of business tonight against Duke. I don't know about laying the 15 on the betting side. I'm not.
They traditionally give us a fit, bro.
Yeah, I'm not.
They are a pain in the butt.
I am not touching this game whatsoever. If you want to get in on the text line, you can reach out to us at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter at Big O Show, of course. Many ways always to reach out to the program. We got a loaded show for you today. David Furones, he's going to join us in 10 minutes at the bottom of the hour. So we'll talk a little Canes with him since Canes are getting ready to take on Duke. At 1 o'clock, Alan Poupart's going to join us to talk a little Dolphins. We'll preview Dolphins and Bengals with him. We'll get his thoughts on Tua because I think there's no shot in Tua playing whatsoever. At 1:30, Franco Panizo will be on with us, and he'll be on video actually with us. He lives close by, so he's going to come by and sit down and join us here on the program. So we'll have a little fun with Franco, and we'll talk all things Inter Miami with Franco Panizo, who does an excellent job covering the team. And if you're an Inter fan, I believe his podcast is must listen to. Miami Total Football, MIA Total Football, by the way, FUTBOL, just in case. And follow it, subscribe to it. It's definitely worth it. He does a really, really good job overall. Let me see, what else do we have here? I think the best, James, oh, yeah, I read that one. Tua playing tomorrow, Big O. Omar, I've already said many times, nope. I don't believe he's playing at all tomorrow. Super V says, Big O, I wish I was there in sunny Florida, but unfortunately, I live in the Northeast where it's snowing like crazy. Wow. Sorry, bro. Sorry about that.
Snow's cool to visit.
Yeah.
Visit.
Yeah.
When you get to like the 8th or 9th day and you have to go out and just scrape the windshield. I remember the first time I did that, I'm like, I can't imagine getting up to warm up the car, scrape, and shovel the driveway and all that. Like, dude, how do people do that on a daily? God help you. More power to you.
One night I was, we closed down the Buddha Lounge in Indy, the Combine, and I've gone there so much that I'm tight with the owners at this point. And so.
Oh, you got it like that, huh?
I would hold the party every year at the Combine at that place and bring in
the cigars.
I bring in about 150 people.
What?
Whether it was reporters, scouts, people, NFL people, and we'd all gather there. It'd be like a little get together. We did it like 4 years in a row. And so, long story short, it's 2 a.m. I'm a little buzzed. I've had a couple cigars, and it is freaking snowing. I mean, Indy-like snow, which is just pounding, right? Streets are, half a foot of snow all over the street.
You can't see across the street. The buildings over there, it's that thick, yeah.
It's one of those deals. So, and in Indy, you walk, okay? If you're smart, you don't rent a car in Indy. You don't have to. As long as you're going to stay in the downtown area, you can pretty much walk everywhere. They've got indoor walkways in the second level that connect most of the buildings, not all. Well, where you're at in the Buddha Lounge, you're just a couple of blocks away from the tunnel. So, I was SOL.
So you do have to venture out into the elements a little.
Yeah. So
one block.
So the owner goes to me, hey, you need a ride? And I go, yeah, you can, please, appreciate it. So before he gets into the car, he's got to get out the thing, and he starts picking that ice off the windshield, and then he's got to turn on the car and keep it on for a couple of minutes, and it just, all the crap that he had to go through, and I was like, man, no wonder I don't want to live in this place. The snow is nice, and it's cool, and it's cute, and all that to visit, but I feel for you, Super V, to be living in that every single day. Damn, dude. I love sleeping in the cold, but I don't like hanging out in the cold. There's a difference, okay? I don't know why, and maybe a lot of you are the same way, because I've run into people that love, the house really cold to sleep. That's how I like it. I like freaking meat being able to hang in the house when I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? But the second I get up, I don't want anything to do anymore with the cold. Like, I get up and I want to enjoy a regular day. I don't want to be cold. You know what I mean? So I don't know how many of you.
See, when I'm in the snow, I'm the weirdo that, walks through the snow, doesn't walk on the cleaned off sidewalk. Because I love the crunch of the snow under my boot.
Right.
And, of course, up north, everybody's looking at you like, what the hell? I'm like, hey, from Miami, I'm only here for 8 days, 10, whatever. And I crunch snow every chance I get. I do like it, but, man, about that second day that you have to go out and scrape the windshield on the car, and that's all, dude, that's enough. Like, send me home. I'm ready to go.
Wow. I did not know this. NorCal filled me in with a really fun fact. Next year, the Finns will play in Nashville and New Orleans. 2 great towns to visit, no car needed. There we go.
Nashville, the capital of What is it?
Music, baby.
Bridal
Music City, baby. Oh, you mean you're talking about bachelorettes?
Bachelorette parties.
Yes.
Yes, that is supposedly the capital.
Oh,
of that.
there you go, bro. You can go raid the bachelorette parties. I'll be jamming music.
Why not do both?
I got to tell you, NorCal.
I know you're married.
I know with the fact that it's 2020 screwed us. I could probably tell my wife I'm traveling in 2021 like 10 or 15 times, and she won't say anything because she'll go, "Oh, I get it. I know it." She knows how much I'm jonesing for concerts as it is.
I got to be honest with you. I'm surprised that you haven't figured out a way for us to be at some show, even if it's, a cover band or something, man.
It hasn't happened. Well,
what was the one that was
except for Larry Schlossberg, I got to go see his band. But I've had a couple of conflicts. But that's the next one that I'll go to because he's usually jamming up north, in Broward or Palm Beach.
They got stuff going on.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah,
limited 25% or whatever.
Yeah. They're still playing. Yeah.
Some semblance of something, man, is better.
Lazy Lightsaber says Nashville sucks. Lazy Lightsaber, you're the only person I've ever heard that says Nashville sucks. Anybody that I've ever talked to says that's one of the greatest downtowns ever, with all the bars and all the music and all of it going on. You're the only person I've ever heard that goes to downtown Nashville and says it sucks. So I don't know if I could ever take any advice from you when it comes to fun, because to a person, everybody loves Nashville. Okay? It's a pretty good place. All right, let's do this. Bill, let's take a quick break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll get David Furones on. We'll talk a little Canes as the Canes get ready to take on Duke. So we'll have a little fun with David Furones from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. You can follow David at David Furones _ We'll come back on the other side. We'll talk a little Canes with David Furones next.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moody'sdental.com. Go to the website. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231 or go to moody'sdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower tincture. When you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. Big O Show. Big O Show.
All right, we back at Caneswear. Hey, folks, don't forget, at Caneswear and Caneswear.com, come on out here because they got 40% off of all Inter Miami and Panthers apparel. They've also got 20% off all Canes apparel. Okay, all the Canes headwear out there, they've got it all everything that you need, they've got it. Plus, if you use the code CWR10, you will get an extra 10% off your order here at Caneswear. So Brett and all the great people are doing everything they can to meet you guys halfway. All right, we're going to talk to David Furones from the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. You can follow him on Twitter at DavidFurones_. That's his exceptional work there at the Sun-Sentinel website. David, how you doing, my brother? Oh, he's not there yet? All right, Bill's putting him up now on the line. We'll get David Furones on as the Canes are getting ready to take on Duke on the road, favored by 15, over and under 61.5. You know, next year, I promise you that we will have our own pre- and post game for the Canes, too. So by next year, we should have pre- and post for Dolphins, pre- and post for Canes. And who knows, David Furones might be a contributor on one of those shows. You never know.
We have Mr. Furones for you, sir.
The legend that is David Furones. David, how you doing, my brother? Do we have him? Wait a minute. Okay. David, do you hear me? Maybe he hears me, but we're not hearing him at the moment. All right, let's see. I don't know. Bill's trying to figure it out now and trying to get it on. Poor David. He's like hanging in there going, I hear you. Oh, I'm talking, but you can't hear me. What's going on? You may want to hang up. You may want to have to dial him up again and get him on. So we'll try to get you in there. Let me see what else do we have here. On the hell are you guys talking about now? John Rouse says Nashville is a fun place. Hell yeah. Yeah. Lazy Lightsaber says, I lived there last year and I moved away. John says, we'll be moving to Knoxville area in about 10 years when I retire. I got to tell you, man, I know a few people that have moved out to Tennessee and they love it. But I don't know, maybe Lazy Lightsaber, maybe that's not your kind of area, baby. What's up, baby? That maybe it's not your kind of area, you know what I mean? But
says we got him.
All right,
David, you there?
David? Do we have him there? Okay, looks like my man Bill is struggling here to get David on, and we'll hopefully get him on at one point or another here. Did you redial it and do the whole thing?
Let me try, because it says it's connected.
Yeah, just hang up and redial and see if you can connect again and try to get it. Sorry about the technical snafus here as we try to get it done here. As far as living, there's traffic in the night. Cost living has skyrocketed. You're paying Miami prices to live in and lock state with no beaches, and it gets cold as hell and no snow. Well, I mean, if the beaches are a must for you, then yeah, you're not going to enjoy a place like that. Yeah, I'm with you. But I got to tell you something. It's getting to a point where I don't even know if you can enjoy the beaches anymore. As polluted as they are nowadays and everything going on, so unless you could get in a boat and like go out into the ocean and then go swimming out there and stuff like that, maybe that might be the better way to do things. But I got to tell you that it's not like the oceans in South Florida are as desirable as they used to be in the past. You know what I'm saying? But listen, it all depends on what point of your life you're at. Like, I think like with John saying that he's going to move later on in Nashville, and like for myself, you know, I've lived here for 50 years. I'm not saying that I'm moving out, but I could see people that, hey, you've been here for a long time, you want to change it a little bit, maybe.
It says we're paired. Are you there, David?
All right, David, you there? Do we have David? Apparently we don't have David. Apparently we can't get in contact with him. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. But they're, huh? Okay. All right. Yes, whatever, bro. Here. All right. All right, let's see if we can get David on. Oh, man. Julius 305 says Rouse had some Cuban coffee today. I don't know what to do now. Do I continue with a talk show? What do I do? I'm waiting for this. It's not connecting.
Dave, are you there? It says we're connected.
David, are you there? No, he's not. Is there anything potted down that needs to be potted up or anything? No? Okay. I don't know what to tell you, bro. Okay. You got to disconnect yours first. Here you go, man. I don't know what you need to do, but if you just need to dial it up. Okay. All right. So Bill will try to figure this thing out. I don't even know if he will be able to figure it out. Let's see. What else do we have to talk about with Canes-wise? The problem is I don't want to go into another subject, and then I'm talking Canes with Furones. Huh? Well, it's already active. Okay, but I hate that we're doing this crap on the air, bro. There you go. It's connected. I don't know. David, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, good.
You hear me?
Yes, I got you now. Apparently, it's Bill's crappy-ass phone.
My Samsung is not cooperating.
Yeah, well, you need an Apple, bro. Get a freaking iPhone and stop with that Android crap. All right. David, follow him on Twitter at @DavidFurones_. Catches exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. How you doing, first of all, my brother? You doing all right?
I'm doing well. How are you? Always good to be on with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking some time. So, David, should I be nervous today because Manny's had almost 3 weeks off, and unfortunately, our beloved Canes don't necessarily respond very well under Manny Diaz for after a couple weeks, and Duke's pretty crappy. So, I'm hoping for an ass kicking here, but what are you expecting here tonight when they kick off at 8?
Right, that's what you would hope against a team like Duke, especially after Miami has lost to Duke the last couple of seasons. You would hope that the guys that were on those teams and remember those games, that they come back with a vengeance, even despite whatever's been going on. These 3 weeks off. I mean, 2 weeks really, but then it ends up being 3 weeks since your last game. So. Yeah, I mean, maybe somewhere in between. They are going to have some guys out. We don't know exactly who yet. And Manny Diaz said they're going to have enough depth at every position to go out and be effective. But, they will still be affected somehow, and some guys are going to be on a pitch count, things like that. And at the same time, Duke, as you noted, is not very good. So probably somewhere in between. They might show a little bit of rust at some points, and hopefully, for fans, you do see a lot of that they are, back to almost being full go, and that there are moments where they establish their dominance.
How concerned are you about the conditioning?
I mean, yeah, always after a layoff like this, or like you said, they've always been bad after bye weeks, and then now we have this ultimate triple bye situation, or double bye, whatever you want to call it, is what it turned out to be. And even more odd than the normal buys, because they've been quarantined. The guys that have tested positive or contact tracing, they've had to quarantine from the rest of the team. Some guys who were still eligible to work out, they've been working out on their own, just trying to stay in shape, so that once they did return to practice in earnest on Monday, that they'd be in the best shape as possible, even though it's not even really playing shape, and then just slowly, progressively getting guys back throughout the week. So, yeah, it's going to be a concern, and I think we'll find out very early in the game just kind of where they are in that respect.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. So let me ask this: I've seen Duke a couple times. They're really bad. I mean, they're so bad that I had to hide my kid, because it was kind of rated R bad. So I would suggest that, hide the women and children for the game tonight because Duke's ugly. But what is it that Duke could probably do tonight to give Miami trouble? Is there something that you might be or we should be concerned about that could give Miami trouble, a strength that Duke may have? Is there one?
One thing I think I do see is that they have a couple solid defensive ends, and we've seen this throughout the ACC. I mean, there's a lot of ACC teams that are strong up front, rushing the passer. You see it with Pitt almost every year, Clemson, of course, even like the Virginias and Virginia Tech. We saw in the last game they played. Virginia Tech kind of had their way with the Miami offensive line. So even though it's a UM offensive line that's much improved since last season, which last season was just an atrocity with how many sacks they gave up. But just really, I mean, that's an area where they're possibly strong. And then in a game where, you don't know if maybe there might be some guys unavailable or some guys are just coming back. So depending on the situation, last game, UM was already really short on the offensive line. In that one, they had the 5 players, and then if anyone had to leave, then they were going to go to Navon Donaldson, who is an experienced senior, but he was getting ready to make his season debut off of knee surgery. So that would have been his first game action in a year if someone had to leave the game. He was kind of a break in case of emergency player available as the 6th offensive lineman. So if you're short on offensive linemen again, Duke can rush the passer a little bit, so that would be one thing I look at.
All right. On the flip side, what should we expect Miami to do to give Duke fits and make this game a little easier for themselves? Where do you think Miami excels that they can take advantage?
I would say forcing turnovers. It's something we haven't seen as much as all these years since the turnover train started. Miami has always ranked toward the top in takeaways, and maybe you've seen it in spurts, but not as consistently this season. But Duke actually has turned the ball over more than any other team in college football this season, with 30 turnovers so far. So that'd be one area that could really simplify the game if you just get some turnovers, especially on their side of the field, maybe even some defensive scores. Then that would really simplify things for the Hurricanes.
Okay, all right. So I'm almost thinking, and look, it's kind of been the story most of the season, but this is one of those games where De'Aaron King kind of needs to take over, right? Because of the experience, the leadership, and all the playmaking ability that the guy has. This almost has to be a game where he kind of takes over to make life really easy for everybody, correct?
Yeah, that, or I mean, it'd be nice to really just get the running game to be something where he doesn't have so much pressure on him as well. So I guess it's kind of the 2 ways to look at it. If all he has to do is either hand the ball off or hold it on his own sometimes, and the offense is moving that way, then that's really easy, and then it opens up a lot more in the passing game too. So, but on the reverse side of that, of course, if he's hitting on all cylinders from the beginning, then the running game can complement that. So, obviously, if you have everything working on one accord, then that would be fantastic. But, yeah, I mean, this would be a game where you want to see De'Aaron King really show out.
Now, David, I'm not one of the ones complaining because I'm a realist, dude. Miami is not one of the 2 best teams in the ACC, and the ACC made its bed with Notre Dame this year. So if that's what it is, clearly Clemson and Notre Dame are the best teams in this conference. But the conference did knock out a couple of games to kind of make it easier. And I understand they're trying to protect their marquee game of the conference, which would be the ACC championship game with those 2. So let's risk, any COVID issues. And the teams left on their schedules aren't going to really beat them. We know that, okay? So I'm just wondering, what is the vibe from the players, the coaches, about all of that? Because, basically, instead of playing it out, they kind of already cut it off and said, well, this is going to be our ACC championship game, and UM is pretty much outside looking in. But there are people that feel like UM got slighted in all of this. So is that the feeling amongst the program and the coaches, that they got slighted in this area?
No, I think the players, ever since the loss at Clemson, kind of took it upon themselves as, okay, now we have to just do what we can do, control what we can control, go out and win the rest of the games on our schedule. If something else develops elsewhere to give the team an opportunity, then so be it. But they kind of understood the writing on the wall. They had their big chance at number 1 Clemson and then lost that game. Obviously, much bigger than any ACC decision this week was when Clemson didn't have Trevor Lawrence up at South Bend and lost that game to Notre Dame. Because you were much more confident, somewhere along the line Notre Dame could probably lose one, or if it's a tiebreaker situation with Miami not playing Notre Dame, then it gets into really deep into the tiebreaker scenarios, and maybe it's a coin toss, whatever it might be. But then once Notre Dame beat Clemson, and that was really where it was tough because obviously Clemson had the tiebreaker from head to head over Miami, so that was more so where it went awry for the Hurricanes than any decision that came down from the ACC this week. I think the decision kind of just accelerates the inevitable, maybe. And hey, even then, Notre Dame and Clemson both could have clinched this Saturday anyway, as long as both teams won their games. Which, I mean, it seems like Notre Dame playing Syracuse and Clemson should beat Virginia Tech, obviously. So even if Miami would beat Duke, then they could have found themselves regardless eliminated by the end of tonight, regardless.
All right, so David Furones, by the way, from the Sun Sentinel joining us. You can follow him on Twitter like I and so many other Canes fans do at David Furones _. All right, David, let's go down to your gut now. What's your gut tell you about D'Eriq King? Because I don't think he's an NFL quarterback as it is. He might be a gimmick guy, like a Taysom Hill maybe. Maybe they can turn him into something like that at the next level. So what does D'Eriq King do? Does he go to the NFL, or does he stay for another year and try to sharpen his skills and pad those stats?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting decision. Actually, something I'm working on right now. So I'll write up an article about this and decisions for a lot of these players coming up that will come out today. But for King, it's going to be tough to see him excel right away in the NFL. I think he could benefit from another season. I mean, he's already getting up there in age, and so he had to come to UM thinking he had one season, and he feels, hey, I really like it at Miami. I want to get a full college season where the preparation in the off season isn't shorthanded by COVID and pandemic. Maybe we're in a better situation by the middle of next year, by the summer, training camp, all that, and that he really gets a full season under Red Lashley. It's not compromised in how much they can prepare together. So, I mean, I could see that perspective from him, and I could also see the perspective that, hey, I'm getting up there in age. I got to go move on and try my best to see what I could do in the NFL, because maybe I've already kind of shown who I am, and, if the NFL is going to take me, they're going to take me now. But I could really see UM benefiting from it if he does want to come back. I really see the Hurricanes as contenders if they have D'Eriq King at quarterback next season.
Jalen Phillips, he's gone, right? I mean, at the position he plays, it's such a premium position at the next level. He may not be a first rounder. Maybe he's a second rounder or third. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't really done a lot of homework on him and asked any of the NFL people. But I would imagine that he's going to be, right there in the early part of the draft. What's your gut tell you on Jalen Phillips?
Yeah, I'm not sure what round he would go. I mean, obviously he's a guy that wasn't even on the radar going into the season because he had barely played any college football. Obviously, he transferred from UCLA, so he took last season off. He was just trying to get his body right, get into great shape, which he did, and it's showing this season. So, as a pass rusher, I think just having that 1 year where you really exhibit your talents, and, like Greg Rousseau did the year before, he opted out of this season entirely because he had that one monster season in 2019 as a redshirt freshman. So basically played one college season, and that was enough for him to show he's a first-round talent that can opt out of a season and go on to the next level. So, I mean, I would think, if I'm Jalen Phillips, I move on, yes.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling that Jalen's going to move on. What do you think keeps King here the most? Just as a little follow-up here. If he stays, what's the thing that will keep him here to stay at this time?
I don't think maybe it's getting another opportunity to get a full season, with Rhett Lashley, with the receivers. Who knows if with the tight end state, I don't know if Brevin Jordan may want to leave. He's had some injury concerns over the last couple of seasons. But, maybe and maybe he just fell in love with Miami. How about that? What if he came down here and he said, boy, if I have another year with all these guys and, a year under my belt where we really have a full off season together, then who knows what we can accomplish. So maybe that could be the drawing point that sticks in his mind at the end of the season. Like, okay, let's give it one more shot before I move on.
Follow my man David Furones on Twitter at @DavidFurones_. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. So out of curiosity, because this doesn't happen to me anymore, years ago maybe, but over the last 20 years I've kind of learned my lesson. I don't get excited about recruits. But Jake Garcia apparently has got everybody all hot and bothered. Are you believing the hype? Should people believe the hype? Or are you going to take my point of view and say, I don't know what the hell this kid is. I'll wait till he actually takes the field.
Yeah, I think it's always more of the latter. There are some guys that, people know right off the bat. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, everyone kind of knew since probably well before his high school senior year that, he was kind of the elite in his class, and he kind of maintained that. There's so many other examples, though, of guys where you think that's what they are, and they fall off somewhere along the line. Even going from being a standout in their final year of college to thinking someone's a home run draft prospect. I mean, we've seen countless NFL draft busts at quarterback that you're not really sure of even to that point. So, but I mean, I think the main thing is you want competition going forward. Where if maybe not even next year, but if Derek King isn't around, but just for years beyond that you have a quarterback from the previous class in Tyler Van Dyke that, from all accounts, has done really well behind the scenes. We don't really get to see much, especially this season with the pandemic and all, but a guy who was a four-star recruit the year before. You just want to keep getting one guy like that in every class that can and have these guys compete against each other. Sure, whoever loses out may transfer later on, but as long as your eggs aren't all in one basket where, okay, we're really depending on Tyler Van Dyke to be the quarterback of the future, or we're really depending on Jake Garcia if he ends up deciding to come to Miami. If you have that competition, I think that's what's best. So this class doesn't have a quarterback in it right now, so if you can end up late in the process landing a guy like him, then that would be great for the Miami Hurricanes.
Follow him on Twitter at @DavidFurones_ and catch his exceptional work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel website. David, as always, my man, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy the game tonight. Let's hope they get a W, because if not, it's going to get ugly.
Absolutely. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, my brother, you be good. There you go, David Furones. I mean, this is you got to win tonight. You got to win and it sucks. And it sucks when you know that you're going to lose a guy like Jalen Phillips. But I think De'Aaron King, if he's smart, he stays. He's not an NFL QB, man. He's just not. He's a really good college quarterback. Hey, Ken Dorsey was a great college quarterback. Steve Walsh was a great college quarterback. Those guys were never going to be great in the NFL. They were never going to be franchise guys. They didn't. The dude up top, that guy that is in charge of everything. He didn't bless them with NFL ability. Unfortunately, blessed them with NFL minds. They could probably play the game mentally, but unfortunately, it's kind of like Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy, God bless him, he gets by with what the good Lord gave him, but the good Lord had to give him slightly a little bit more athleticism, had to give him a little stronger arm, and he probably would have been a Hall of Famer, okay? Because he's likable, he's a leader, super smart. I mean, he's like a coach on the field. And Teddy has everything except the dude upstairs just did not give him all the goods. And De'Aaron King, I don't think he's got all the goods that you need to be an NFL quarterback. So he really listen, you only get to play college football one time. So why not make it your best run in college football, then move on? If you're Trevor Lawrence, you have a lot to lose by staying because you are legitimately an NFL quarterback that has the ability to be a franchise NFL quarterback. So if you're Trevor Lawrence, yeah, you leave. You don't stay. But if you're De'Aaron King, you stay, dude. Don't go. Don't go because you're just going to sit on the bench for a while. You might be used as a gimmick. They might use you like a Taysom Hill or something like that. Because I think that's what he is at max, is a Taysom Hill. And you're going to then regret that you gave up a year of college that you could have added to your career and your memories and everything else. And who knows what the Canes could accomplish next year. I mean, they got a really good recruiting class, supposedly. And if some of the guys they already have get better, maybe they're better than they were this year. I don't know. But if I'm De'Aaron King, I am staying. There is no reason right now for you to leave. Okay? You're not the Ohio State kid. You're not the South Dakota kid. And you're definitely not the Clemson kid. Okay? So that's the right thing to do. Let's take a quick break. Hour number 1 is done. Alan Poupart is going to do this when we come back on the other side. We'll have a little fun with Alan, and we'll talk all things Dolphins with the SI reporter next.
Hey, it's Big O for all your CBD, THC, or hookah needs. You can get down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to peer, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O for EJD Construction. Listen, I've been telling you about Eric for a long time now. Custom home builder for additions, home. We're not talking about a handyman. Maybe you want to redo that man cave. We're not going to a lot of live sporting events. So you want to improve that experience in your man cave? Call them 305-433-4843. Tell them that Big O sent you and go to the Instagram page. You can see the before and after there. You'll be impressed. EJD_construction. Call them 305-433-4843 or go to the website ejdconstruction.com.
America's premium sports sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. TLX, $259 a month, $259 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All righty, we are ready to rock. We are ready to roll. Alan Poupart, as always, kind enough to join us here to talk a little Miami Dolphins. You can follow him on Twitter at @PoupartFins, and of course, Sports Illustrated, the editor of the Dolphins Digest. Alan, are you there, sir? Do we have Alan? I know, I'm sure it's there already. It's already connected. Alan, do you hear me? Do we have Alan? No, we don't have Alan? How do we not have Alan? What's going on with Alan? It's already, oh, okay, there we go. I see what you're saying. Okay, I see.
Yeah, because there's a remnants from the last one. You have to disconnect and reconnect every time. That way you get a fresh.
Ah, I got you now.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, so Alan Poupart can be found on Twitter at @PoupartFins. Alan, are you there, my brother?
There we go. Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Ta-da! How about that?
Yes, sir. It's a beautiful thing. All right, man. How you feeling, brother? You doing all right?
Can't complain. Wouldn't do any good. Nobody wants to hear it.
No, you're right about that. Now, I listen. I'm pretty much down to this, and it just comes to me. It's elementary, my dear Watson. So you're a rookie. You don't have a lot of playing time. You don't have
this week. Again, would be very surprising. And I know on a quick note, it was last week. It was at 1:45 p.m. that we got a release from the Dolphins saying that Tua had been downgraded from questionable to doubtful. So maybe in 30, 45 minutes, we'll get the same kind of press release saying the same thing this week.
Or maybe Lee Steinberg is doing Flo a favor, and because he opened his mouth the last time and broke some news about him starting before he was supposed to tell everybody else. So maybe Lee says, hey, you know what? I'll let out some misinformation. I'm an agent. Who cares? Even if I was wrong, I pulled into Sunday, and, oh, he didn't play. I didn't know. I thought he was going to play. So who knows? Maybe this is Lee Steinberg making up a little bit for Flo and the Dolphins here. Who knows?
No, who knows? Exactly. Again, I would go back to me. The most telling sign is limited in practice all of last week, limited in practice all of this week. No need to rush him in there. It's not as if he's Dan Marino and you're facing a really good team, another playoff contender in a must-win game. So the tea leaves all smell like it's going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick again.
Yeah, that's to me is what it, and here's the other thing. There's no rush. That's the problem I have with all of this, Alan. Why is there this rush to get them out on the field, to play them by fans, I'm saying, and maybe even by some media members? It's almost like I even hear people that say, well, you know, it's no fun to watch the game if Fitz is playing because it just doesn't feel the same without Tua there. And it's almost like the desperation of dying to have a franchise quarterback. Let's force the issue and let's speed up the process.
Ding, ding, ding. I mean, you hit it on the head right there. It's this vision, this aura of Tua that he's going to be a superstar. It's a matter of when, and the more he plays, the quicker it'll happen. So let's get him in there. Regardless of the fact that right now, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, the Dolphins are better on offense with Fitzpatrick as quarterback than Tua. Even though the argument certainly could be made that the Dolphins are better at protecting the ball when Tua's in there, but that's because he doesn't force anything, which in turn limits what they can do offensively. And this is not a group that's stacked on offense, I'll be honest. They're playing lights-out defense, and their special teams are about as good as just in the NFL. But their offense right now is, to be politely put, pedestrian. And right now, basically, what it needs to do is not lose games and let the defense and special teams do their thing. So there's no reason to rush Tua in the lineup if he's not ready to go, which is another reason why I would expect Fitzpatrick to play.
All right, so Alan, and we're talking with Alan Poupart, by the way, who does an exceptional job of covering the Dolphins for Sports Illustrated. Follow him on Twitter at @PoupartFins. Alan, what's your gut tell you about the running back situation? Because we found out about Matt Breida going on COVID, and we know Gaskins, and we know he's been questionable. We know DeAndre Washington is
which is the time by which they had to do it. The Dolphins did not activate Miles Gaskin off IR. He's been practicing for the past week and a half. Once he started practicing, which was a week from Wednesday, the Dolphins had a 3-week window to activate him. Right now, they're down to one healthy running back, and that's Patrick Laird. As you mentioned, DeAndre Washington is doubtful. Salvin Ahmed, who didn't play last week, also is doubtful. I wouldn't expect to see either of those two guys. Matt Breida is on the COVID list. So you're down to Patrick Laird. So highly expect Miles Gaskin to be activated. But even with Miles Gaskin, who's a nice success story, it's not as if the Dolphins were activating Adrian Peterson in their prime. I wouldn't expect the Dolphins rushing in to all of a sudden put up 150 yards against the Bengals.
Yeah, well, let's hope so, man. Let's hope they could get Gaskin out there, because they certainly need him to run the ball. Offensive line, do you expect the same offensive line from last week?
That's a very good question, because Simon Kinley is questionable. I think the Dolphins, everything being equal, prefer having Kinley at right guard, Jesse Davis at right tackle, as opposed to Jesse Davis at right guard and Robert Hunt at right tackle. The thing with Kinley is he was injured a couple of weeks ago. He tried to play against Denver, left the game early because the foot was still bothering him, sat out the Jets game. So I think the last thing the Dolphins would want to do is have him start the game again and have to leave early because the foot keeps bothering him. So they're going to err on the side of caution. Him being listed as questionable, I'd say 50-50, but I think if there's any doubt, the last thing we want to do again is to have something that lingers for Kinley, so they'll err on the side of caution there.
Okay, so on a follow-up on what you said, if they, if you feel that they would prefer to have Jesse at right tackle, and then they got to play him at right guard instead and put Hunt at right tackle, is this an indictment on Michael Dieter that he's still not ready, still not convincing? I know he's been practicing at center, but he is originally a guard. So I'm wondering, why doesn't Dieter get a little love and an opportunity at guard, and then you could put Jesse Davis at right tackle, and let's see what the kid can do in his second year.
Yeah, I think that, I hate to say this because it sounds dramatic, but I might be thinking that ship has sailed.
Okay.
Unless I'm severely mistaken, I don't believe he's played a snap on offense the entire year.
No. Yeah.
And they've had some moving parts. And he's been the backup center the whole year. Ted Karras has played every snap, but he, as you mentioned, he hasn't had experience on guard. He even tackled from his days at Wisconsin. But I think he's way down the depth chart there.
Wow, that sucks, dude. What's your assessment been of Ted Karras?
Been solid, and the thing with centers, normally speaking, you're going to notice them if they're really, really, really good, or if they're really, really bad. For example, you notice Dwight Stevenson because he was so ridiculously good going back a ways. You might have noticed some who were having like really, really rough seasons. Either they get beat on the pass rush or they commit a lot of penalties. I don't think you've noticed that Karras very much, and that as much as anything else tells me he's done a solid job. To say I've broken down every one of his snaps. I can't say I've done that, but from my eyeball of watching every game and every snap and every play, I think he's done a solid job.
My brother, I don't think people have realized this, but the Dolphins have won 5 games by 11 points or more this season. So they have actually blown out a lot of teams, which is pretty freaking amazing in the second year of this turnaround. Miami is favored by 11.5 points. You expect them to cover this one?
I have to think so. I mean, it's a case. I look at the Bengals right now without Joe Burrow and without Joe Mixon, and I don't see a whole lot of difference between them and the Jets, who the Dolphins beat by 17 points, while not playing necessarily a great game. And it was pretty much the same thing when the Dolphins beat the Jets in the first game. The amount of complaining and bitching that was done by fans because the Dolphins only scored 3 points in the second half, and they won by 24 points. So I look at this Bengals team, and what is it that can hurt you? Brandon Allen at quarterback? Giovanni Bernard is a nice back, but he's more of a receiving back. And he works best if he has a workhorse back with him as a tandem, and there's no Joe Mixon. So, and what Cincinnati has is really good wide receivers, but who's getting them the ball? Their offensive line is horrible. And again, Brandon Allen, no offense, is their quarterback. So I have a hard time seeing the Bengals doing a whole lot offensively to hurt the Dolphins. So yeah, I think even if the Dolphins offense doesn't have a great game and lights it up, which could be the case, you could see the Dolphins winning like, I don't know, 24-7 or something like that.
All right, so here's a question for you. I'm looking at Coach of the Year. I don't see any in the NFC. Pete Carroll's doing what he's supposed to do at 8-3. Peyton's doing what he's supposed to do in New Orleans at 9-2. Green Bay and Matt LaFleur at 8-3. All right, whatever. But you know, and Coach of the Year honors. It's Mike Tomlin right up there, Andy Reid right up there. I got to give Kevin Stefanski a lot of love because the Browns are 8-3, and of course B-Flow with us at 7-4. Right now, it's got to be Tomlin, right? Because he is undefeated in this season. But what are the chances that Brian Flores has to win Coach of the Year? And my assessment there.
Oh no, I totally agree with your assessment. The only thing is, I'm not sure I'd put Andy Reid in there because even though he's a fabulous coach, I mean the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl last year.
So he's supposed to be 10-1. Okay.
Well, if you look at the talent they have, both on offense and on defense now that it's accumulated, again, to me, as I look at Coach of the Year, and if you look who's doing the most with the least, and that combination, Andy Reid's doing a lot with the ton. Mike Tomlin's doing a lot with a crazy sick defense, but now he's lost a second key linebacker with Bud DeFrito, and now they lost Devin Bush earlier in the year, who's a really good player. Got to be Coach of the Year. I don't believe they're going to.
Oh, you're breaking up there, Alan. I'm sorry. What? You there, Alan? Do we have you? Uh-oh. I think we lost Poupart here. All right, I think we got to get him back again. Let's see if we can get Alan back here. Let's call him. Okay. All right, there we go. Let's see if we have Alan. Okay, now we will try to. I think we contacted him now again. Let's see if we. Hold on a second, man. Relax. We'll try to get here with Poupart here and try to get contacted with. Alan Poupart. Hey, this is what happens with live radio. Sometimes the lines connect, and sometimes they disconnect.
Sometimes your phone doesn't want to cooperate.
Yeah, sometimes it's just one of those deals where.
How about your phone filling in there, man, and
no, that's
stepping up?
That's just dropping. That's all it is. That has nothing to do with it. It's connecting.
No, I'm talking about at least your phone connected. Mine was like, hey.
Yeah, I know. But
and it said it was connected like on the board, on the phone, it's all, hey, but nothing.
Yep. So we'll try to get in contact again. I think Alan is there. We're trying to pull him up through the board here now and see if we can. No, there we go. Now we got a shot at getting it connected. There we go. Alan, are you there? Do we have him?
Bud, sometimes you're
There we go. Now we got you. You there? Alan? You're breaking up. You're in an iffy spot, my brother. Man. Damn it. See, I thought we had him. Yeah, we lost him there. All right, let's try to contact him.
Is that him calling back?
That's just him, Let's see if we can get him back again because we are connected. So let's see if we can get him on. Alan, are you there?
I am here. Are you there?
There we go. All right, so the question was on the Coach of the Year. Go ahead, give your explanation again. I'm sorry.
I don't know how much got cut off. And Andy is a guy doing a lot.
Oh.
So I'm not sure.
Man, I don't know why it's breaking up so badly. I have no idea. I can't hear you now, Alan, at all. Damn it. All right, let's do this. Bill, call Alan here on the side. Pot all that stuff down and try to get a landline. Okay? And then try to get a landline. Get a landline from him and see if we can finish it out. Okay? We'll do that. But for me, that's the interesting part because Flo should be in the mix for Coach of the Year. The question is, and I think where Alan was going was with Andy Reid, he's so right, obviously, Super Bowl caliber, whatever. So you got to be 10-1. That's normal. Stefanski has got now they do have a lot of talent in Cleveland, but nobody's put it together. So I got to give him love for putting it together. And then Tomlin obviously is doing a great job, and so okay, all right. So you're going to try to Bluetooth it again? Okay. All right. Let's see if we can connect it. Wait a minute. Now, I hit the wrong thing. I'm sorry. As I try to get him connected here. This is crazy, man. I apologize, folks, with all the crap we got going on here. Okay? So now we will get Alan Poupart back. Hopefully we will get a solid connection so we can finish the interview because actually the two questions I have left for him on the head coach, and I got one more with him. I think these are really important questions because Flo is definitely and should be in the mix for Coach of the Year. What he's doing in Miami is absolutely amazing. I think it's one of the best coaching jobs I've seen in a long, long time because it's not just coaching, it's culture. And when you're able to do that and also identifying the people around you, they've done such a good job of identifying the right people to put into that building, the right players, the culture, teaching the young players how to win. All of these things, all of these elements have just, really created a much better environment for the team. And so that's why, I wanted to get Alan's viewpoint on this, but the thing is not coming up here on the phone, and I don't know how much more time I can continue to buy here because it's like it doesn't connect. The hell you want me to do here? Here we go. Let's see if it does now. All right, let's go. Alan, you there?
I am here. Are you there?
All right, there we go, bro. All right, so go ahead and talk about the Coach of the Year.
It's all your fault, right?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Well, interesting thing also. Before I go back to that update from Lee Steinberg, who posted another post shortly after the win about flying to Miami to see Tua play the Bengals. Now, a little bit after that, he posted flying to Miami to see Dolphins play Bengals. So, again, just the latest in the saga.
He ain't playing, dude. He's not playing.
Yeah,
he's not playing.
No, but, no, I don't think he's playing anyway. Okay, going back to Coach of the Year. Again, you mentioned the four guys who really jump out. Andy Reid, I don't think Andy Reid wins because the talent level on that team is so ridiculous. And some voters will be like, well, yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Eric Bieniemy as well, who deserve all the credit as the OC. Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland has done a fabulous job in the team. You want to talk about a team really needing a culture change after what they went through last year? That is the team right there. That also, the other thing that Cleveland that people need to know is they made investments in the offensive line. Jack Conklin signing as a free agent. They also hired Bill Callahan as an O-line coach, who's about the best in the business. And we ask Eric Flowers about that next time he's on the Zoom, because Eric Flowers will tell you that he learned more under Bill and Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a lock if the Steelers go 16-0. I don't think they're going to go 16-0, but even if they go 14-2, it's going to be awfully difficult not to give it to him after the Steelers didn't make the playoffs last year, even though they didn't make the playoffs because they lost Big Ben early in the year. Brian Flores absolutely will be a top 3 finisher unless the Dolphins completely collapse on the stretch, which I don't see. If the Dolphins go 11-5, Brian Flores will get some votes. I'm not sure he's going to be able to overtake Mike Tomlin, but it wouldn't shock me either.
All right, so now the next question is Chris Greer, Executive of the Year. Where do you think he stands in that race? Because I think he deserves a ton of credit for that.
Absolutely expect Chris Greer to be in that conversation.
Yeah, to me, I think he definitely deserves it.
Stuff is always like a nuts and bolts information piece on the game, including a little chart in there today about all the Dolphins offensive coordinators who have gone on to become head coaches elsewhere. One of whom the Dolphins will see tomorrow, and Zach Taylor, who, you remember, finished out the 2015 season as the OC under interim head coach Sam Campbell. I was in the middle of writing when you called on my why the Dolphins will win, why they will lose, and what's actually going to happen. Also did something on this weekend is the NFL's Mike Cause Mike Sleep campaign, and several Dolphins players, it's more than 30, are participating and all have different stories as to what they're trying to represent. And lastly, as I do every Saturday, we're going to count down and break down the 5 biggest stories of the week.
Good stuff as always. Make sure if you're a Dolphins fan, he is a must-follow. Lock it in on Twitter at @PoupartFins and catch his work there at SI. It is thorough. It is good. He does an exceptional job. Alan, enjoy the game, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. We really appreciate it.
You got it. Anytime, Big O.
You got it, my brother. There you go. The great Alan Poupart, man. Good stuff there. Henrik again chimes in with scared of losing Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie. Can you just enjoy the season? Let's wait till that stuff after, which I don't think we're going to lose any of those guys this year. Maybe in another year or two, yes, I could see that happening. But I don't think that we're going to lose those guys this offseason. Okay? All right? So hang in there.
Nice
Relax.
stand-in job by your phone there, buddy.
Yes, definitely. Good thing is we won't need it now for the next guest because Franco Panizo supposedly is going to be here.
Live and in the flesh.
That's right. So we'll have Franco on and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on. Did you hear about Jimmy Butler's new nickname? You guys know about this? It's kind of a...
The Man? How about just the Man?
Well, you can you can call him the Man, right? But they've got other names for him now because, as you know, he is dating Selena, right? So Jimmy is a guy that's been caught with a Pretty Little Liars star, been caught with Iggy Azalea, He loves Taylor Swift, and so now he's dating Selena. So, since Jimmy, they're messing with him on social media now, since he's dating Selena, they went back to look at his history. So now they're starting to call him the milkman. You got to see, if you go, I guess if you put Jimmy Butler milkman, it'll probably come up on Twitter, and the threads are endless. Okay? I mean, it's just, they got the Blazing Saddles scene on there. They got all kinds of things. Twitter is unrelentless, bro. Okay? I mean, it's just one of those things that it's got a mind of its own. It's a monster of its own. You know, it's just a crazy thing when you talk about Twitter. But Jimmy obviously living the life and doing what he always does. What's up, Franco? And so it's just one of those deals where it's just kind of crazy. Let's do this. Franco Panizo is in the house. We're going to take a really quick break here. We'll come back on the other side with Franco. We'll talk a little Inter Miami. We're out here at Caneswear, baby. Come on out here and join us. We'll be out here in Caneswear in Davie, 2511 South University Drive. We'll be out here for at least another half hour, 40 minutes. So come on by and say hi. And, of course, get some great Caneswear, Inter Miami. Right now, you can get 40% off all Inter Miami and Panthers apparel, 20% off all Caneswear stuff. And after you purchase everything online, you can actually use the code CWR10 for an extra 10% off the entire order. You can have it delivered right to your house. So you don't have to come to Davie. They'll deliver it right to you. It's a beautiful thing. Inter Miami made some noise 2 days ago with their roster decisions. Franco Panizo does an exceptional job of covering the team. We will talk about those moves and future moves next.
America's premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month, $199. And Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere. And of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodyusdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231, or go to moodyusdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
We're back. Welcome back. We're going to talk a little soccer right now. Inter Miami made some noise a couple of days ago, and my man Franco Panizo does an excellent job for SBI Soccer and for his podcast, Miami Total Football. If you're an Inter Miami fan and you want to stay in tune with everything going on with Inter Miami, you must subscribe to Miami Total Football, and trust me, you will be very happy. He does an excellent job with that. Follow him on Twitter also, at Franco Panizo, and you can follow the podcast too at MIA Total Football if you want to find it there on Twitter like I do. Frank, how you doing, my bro? Thank you.
I'm good. I came here to Davey to come see you guys. By the way, if you guys want to see the guys with the best masks in probably all of South Florida, it's two. They got the Star Wars mask and the James Bond mask. Dope as heck. Big fan of both the movie series, so pretty cool for you guys.
Thank you, my brother.
This is all compliments of this guy. His efforts totally 100%.
That's dope.
Yeah, he got us decked out, man, to the nines every time, bro. He killed it.
You guys are like MLS level. I'm like USL or USL Pro. I got my mask compared to your mask doesn't even compare, man. I feel uneven here.
I just you underdressed, man. Is that what you're doing?
Right, yeah, you guys have the tux on, and I came in V-neck.
Yeah, I just feel like if we're gonna wear a mask, I just want to, do something that fits
cool,
my personality.
That's cool.
In other words, that's kind of the way I go about it. So yeah, I've invested in a few masks. Hey, we're gonna need these for a while now, bro. You know what I mean? I almost feel like I'm gonna wear masks anyways when I go to the airports from now on. When I fly, I'm gonna fly with a mask.
Yeah.
I almost feel like I'm gonna do that. Are you doing that too?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how. I mean, I'm younger. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's always
More
been
invincible.
There's always been people that have always worn masks at
Young,
airports.
old, invincible, fragile. Okay, all right, I got it. 5 stents in my heart. I'm dead.
I'm just reckless, maybe, or I don't know.
All right. So the question was Inter Miami reckless in their decisions on Thursday? What caught you first by surprise?
I wouldn't say any of them really caught me by surprise. I mean, Luis Robles is obviously the big name in there, but I mean, I've been saying on Miami Total Football for a few months now, I didn't think that they would pick up his option for various reasons. I wouldn't say he was a surprise, but obviously he's a big name. He was the captain before he got injured, so notable decision there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think any of their decisions were shocking or anything, but you could also tell, like the Robles call, and like you said, that maybe he doesn't fit what they do, which is what the coach did throughout the year. He got rid of a couple of people, whether it was Torres or Gwynn, that they did not fit what they do. And so that's kind of what I felt like when they got rid of everybody. Although the one name that I got to tell you caught me a little by surprise was Will Trapp. I really like Will Trapp. Now, are you hearing that they might bring him back? Because that's the other thing. That doesn't mean that they're all gone. It could be renegotiating with some of them.
Yeah. So I'll touch on what you first said, that players that have been moved maybe don't necessarily fit Diego Alonso's style. And out of this squad that was moved, 8 out of the 12 players were signed before Diego Alonso was hired. So 8 out of the 12 just were maybe not necessarily players that Diego Alonso wanted, that necessarily he thought were players that should fit his style. These were players that were signed before or acquired before he got here. So that's number one. And then number two is, as far as Will Trapp goes, I don't know if it's a player that fits what Diego Alonso wants. Like, he's a U.S. international, or he has U.S. men's national team experience. He can move the ball well. He can give you that. He's a smart player, but he doesn't give you that much defensive abilities. He's not necessarily somebody that has a whole bunch of range and breaks a lot of things up. He's not necessarily the most physical guy. Doesn't cover a lot of ground. So in that aspect, someone that they bring back, he's out of contract. Yeah, I know they said they're in negotiation with a lot of players. The only one they actually made a point to identify was Andres Reyes, at least in the press release. That's the only person they named. Hey, we're definitely trying to get him back. But I don't know if they bring Will Trapp back. I mean, he probably for himself needs a team where he's going to start game in and game out. And this season he was in and out of the lineup, finished the year in the lineup, but was in and out. He needs to play if he's going to have a chance to make it into the World Cup team or the World Cup qualifying team for the U.S. men's national team. And again, I don't think he's necessarily the best fit or the fit that Diego Alonso wants for that position.
What do you think there? Well, to me, it kind of looks like they're going to go after defense. Is that what you think is going to happen? Because I think they got enough offense. They got to get it in rhythm, and they got to get it with chemistry. But it's almost like they got to figure out that back half of that team.
I think the defense is pretty much set. I think maybe you'll see an addition, maybe one significant addition. I mean, obviously there might be, depth options that are brought in that help replace a Mikey Ambrose if he's not brought back. But I think if they go defense, they'll add, maybe try to get Andres Reyes back if they can. But other than that, I think they're going to go for someone. First of all, I think number one need, and I've written this already this offseason, is a left winger, a left midfielder, someone that can help balance the attack out, because all you saw this season was Lewis Morgan predominantly, right? Down the right. That's essentially, that's where Inter Miami's attack came from, just down the right side. Diego Alonso likes wingers that, like Lewis Morgan, that can take players on one-on-one, can get down the touchline, and then whip in crosses. But you never saw anybody do that consistently on the left. You saw Rodolfo Pizarro, Matias Pellegrini, Juan Agudelo, Breck Shea. They all got turns there, and nobody made the position their own. Nobody could do what Diego Alonso wanted. So I think that's going to be the first need. And then the second need will probably be a number 6, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I think they'll go for a number 6, which is a defensive midfielder. Again, someone, in my opinion, that I think can pair next to Blaise Matuidi a little bit better, that can maybe do a little more of the dirty work, and that will allow Blaise Matuidi to play a little more free in terms of going forward. Obviously, that doesn't take away Blaise Matuidi's defensive responsibilities. So I do think they need some help in the defensive cover, which is that 6th spot, and a left winger. Maybe they can go find a left back if they want to find someone to take Ben Sweat's spot. But I think, again, in MLS you have restrictions in your salary cap and salary budget, so there's only so much you can do. So I think Andres Reyes is probably the prime target that they're looking for, at least on the defensive side, to try to bring back.
Franco Panizo joining us, talking about Inter Miami Soccer. You can follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo. Catch his work there at SBI Soccer. And, of course, you can also follow him at Miami Total Football. That is the podcast. It is Inter Miami Intensive. You will love it. All right, I've got a twisted question for you.
Okay.
If they're going to get rid of a DP to bring in another DP that they might think might be better and might fit more what Diego does, is there one DP that you would say, okay?
If I had to pick one, I don't think they're going to get rid of any of them. I think they buy down Pellegrini's cap hit, or they change his structure, contract structure, and maybe make him a TAM player. But if you're asking me which one is most likely to get rid of, would be Pellegrini. First, Higuain is Higuain. They spent a lot of money on him.
Yep.
I don't think you're just going to be able to say goodbye, so Higuain will be here for a bit. He's got a lot of money. I don't think he's going to walk away from that. I don't think they can just be like, all right, well, we're going to eat this and you can go. Pizarro, even though I know there's some people that have said
I'm one.
He hasn't necessarily performed to the best. I think Diego Alonso even said that towards the end of the season, that he needed to find and rediscover his best form. The reason why I don't think he'll go is simply because of his relationship with Diego Alonso. They've worked together, not only at Inter Miami, they worked with each other at 2 different clubs in Mexico. At one point this season, Diego Alonso in a press conference, when talking about Pizarro and was asked about him by a member of the Mexican media, said paternal. So he has a very paternal relationship with Rodolfo Pizarro. He's seen him grow since he was a young man to now. So it's like a father figure almost, at least in terms of soccer. So I don't think they'll get rid of Pizarro. I think they'll need to get more out of him for sure, absolutely, if he comes back.
Does he fit exactly what Diego likes to do?
I think. I mean, he's played for him, and he was the first significant player they signed once Diego Alonso was actually on board. And this goes back to the first question of players who were hired or signed before his arrival. But as soon as he arrived, a month and a half later, Rodolfo Pizarro came also. So he's a player that definitely fits what Diego Alonso wants to do. It's just a matter of Diego Alonso figuring out how to make this team best work. Because, yes, the team did not work necessarily at its best. Maybe Pizarro held on to the ball too much, because that's definitely a critique of his, because he felt he needed to do more. I mean, that some players can feel that weight on their shoulder. I mean, he has the 10. He was the first big name signing, so there's a lot that can go into it. I agree that that doesn't absolve him of blame for poor performances this season, and he absolutely has to pick it up. But I don't think that they can get rid. I don't think they'll get rid of him so quickly. I think if there's one of them, the 3 they'd get rid of is Pellegrini. But again, I don't think they'll get rid of any of them this offseason.
Explain to us, because a lot of people here, obviously MLS is new to people after 20 years coming back, but the rules have changed even from 20 years ago. How do they make Matias a player that doesn't count as a DP? What do they got to do?
So Paul McDonough, sporting director, would have to negotiate with Pellegrini, and assuming he has his agent, and would have to get him to sign a new deal. And that new deal would obviously have to be at a lower figure, or they'd have to restructure it in a way so that he doesn't hit that cap hit that makes him that gives him a DP salary, or a young DP salary, because he's not a DP, he's a young DP. And now people might think young DP is, because of his age. No, but he actually classifies as a young designated player, which is a term in MLS. The cap hit is lower than a regular DP. So maybe they can buy him down, because, again, it's a lower cap
What's
hit.
the money for the young DP and then the regular MLS player, or the upper echelon MLS player? Because I would imagine you got to go to an upper echelon to meet a young DP price. So,
well, I mean, you can give a lot of money to a young. You can make him a regular DP. MLS introduced this young DP rule to incentivize signing young players, as opposed to like the older, bigger name players. Because back in, before, years ago, we would only see mostly
retirement league.
Right, so you'd only see it. So they did this to incentivize teams to sign younger players, lower cap hit on you. You get a quality player, you could sell them at some point. But as for the actual numbers, that's definitely in my area of expertise, the number crunching. It's so complicated in MLS, because there's the number, but then there's targeted allocation money in general, and there's a lot of different things that can factor into.
So there's a lot of funny math, is what you're saying?
It's a lot of funny money, MLS monopoly money. So, yeah, I mean, I could get those numbers, but I just don't know them off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, but they can do it.
They can do it. It's a matter of the player also being wanting to, right? Because the player could just be like, well, I'm on this deal.
The reason I ask, and it's not because I have any, it's just I know my owner. Mm-hmm. I know my boss.
Yeah.
The dude wants to win more than anybody in the world. Yeah. I mean, you have no idea how much Jorge Mas wants to win.
Yeah.
I mean, he is crazed about winning. And I could just see him going after another player, and just to bring in
I could see that.
another big name and use that DP spot and make Matias that. Or you trade Pizarro, who can easily be traded for his money. You won't lose a penny on Pizarro. You know that.
Yeah.
And you replace him with an even bigger player if you feel like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And knowing Jorge Mas, again, I'm not going off inside. I'm just spitballing as a talk show host. And, of course, secretly, obviously, I want Inter to win the damn cup. I can almost see that man going the extra mile, because that's all they've ever done there so far since he's taken over.
Yeah.
They go the extra mile on everything.
My interactions with Jorge have been limited. I think I was part of a scrum that interviewed him early on in the season, but I mean, that's my perception, my sensation from afar is that he's super competitive. Yes. He's a very successful man. So when you're very successful, you obviously want to be the best at what you do, or I mean, you get used to that. So, And I've said this about him. He's one of the most forward-facing owners in MLS. He was at every game, or almost every game this season, where once we were allowed back into the stadium for the first time, and he was always in the stands, or almost always in the stands, watching the games.
The only game he missed, he was ill.
So he was almost always there.
It wasn't COVID. By the way.
He was almost always there. That's not necessarily something you see in MLS for most owners. Some owners are called absentee owners; they're just not around.
Right. No, that's not him.
So you can tell he's very involved, and you could see him be upset when they didn't get calls or when they weren't doing well, and you could see him very elated and ecstatic with his family when things went well, when they scored goals.
It's not just him.
It's right. It's the family.
It's the Moss family is there.
I mean, 100%. And people have asked me this offseason about Diego Alonso's status and going forward. And I've said Diego Alonso will get another season, but I don't think Jorge is going to put up with another necessarily full poor season. So the pressure will be on coaches, sporting directors in this organization, because this team's an ambitious team, and the owner is a successful, ambitious owner as well. That's going to want a team that fits that brand and that model. So definitely Jorge Mas seems like he's as involved as any owner in MLS, and definitely going to be ambitious as heck. So pressure will be on coaches and players and sporting directors.
Let me put you in a really difficult position, because I don't know if you've done the scouting for all of this. They let go of several players. So a couple of names around the MLS that you could see fit Diego's system are free agents and could be here.
So, I mean, again, I think they need a left winger.
And I apologize for putting you in a really difficult spot.
It's just, the MLS pool is growing and ever vast. So just trying to think of who they. This is just a name, just maybe of the type of player they could go for. And this is more of along the lines of a defensive midfielder. Someone like a Diego Chara in Portland, he's made a huge name for himself because he's just athletic, he's feisty, tough. Gets yellow cards, yes, but that's his role. That's part of his role, is to break up plays and
we got two guys in the back that get a lot of yellow cards.
You got to be a pest. I mean, that's part of the game, right? Like that's part of those positions. Yes, you're going to get an unnecessary amount of yellow cards, but you're getting yellow cards as part of that game, because your task is essentially one of your main to destroy play. That includes committing fouls and doing all the dirty work. So number 6, like Diego Chara. I mean, you could say Osvaldo Alonso. He's older now. He's Cuban, which would have been an interesting time, but now he's at the later stages.
We got a couple Cuban kids in the Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, but Ozzy is at this point probably a little later in his career. You probably aren't going to invest on board, even with the interesting Cuban ties that he could have. But someone along those lines in the 6. On the left side, I'd have to really, really think about who's the type of player that would be available, that dribbles down the wing, that can give you kind of what Lewis Morgan gives you. I'd have to put more thought into it, probably more than we have on the show, but definitely someone that's that can beat people, that is confident enough to take people on the dribble, because there's players that are, they can pass and be all right on the ball, but it's when you have someone in front of you, do you have the confidence in saying, all right, I'm going to beat this guy on the dribble or with my speed? That's a quality that not every winger and not every player has. So I'll think about that. I'll get back to you.
Okay, good. The next time I have you on, we'll definitely talk about that. Talk to us about the windows now, since we got a lot of new MLS fans. Mm-hmm. What's the window like from here on out? What are we expecting? When do we start seeing the signings and all that stuff?
So there's a trade window, a half-a-day trade window coming up, where you can expect moves across the league. I wouldn't be surprised if Inter Miami's involved in there and somehow, because they've chopped a lot of the middle part of their rosters, so they need to replace that middle part of their roster, be it with outside signings or with some MLS signings, and I think they will bring some MLS players. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a trade there, and I think that is in 2 weeks, December maybe 15th. I'm going off vaguely off the top of my head, so if that's wrong, I apologize in advance. And then after that, then you have the off-season winter transfer window opens up shortly thereafter, and then teams can sign players from abroad, and whether it's Europe, South America, Central America, wherever, they'll have the opportunity to do so. It's like they started Andres Reyes, Nicolas Figal, and the like. So it'll be a busy offseason. I can tell you that much. It seems like the offseason's long, but it actually ends up going really quickly. There's the expansion draft coming up. Inter Miami could lose a player to that, because Austin Austin FC, the new expansion team for next year, is coming in, and they have an opportunity to pick 5 players from across the league. So Inter Miami will, at some point in the next week, have to announce their protected list, which is 12 players. They can protect 12 players from the players that are on their roster right now from that draft, but then the rest of them that are unprotected are eligible to be picked and taken by Austin. So Austin could pick, someone like Dylan Nealis if he's left available because he's young, he's cheap, serviceable. So Inter Miami's going to have some decisions to make in that regard very, very soon. And then after that, they'll have opportunities to sign their own players once part of the offseason gets going.
All right, one last question before I let you go. And, of course, we're talking with Franco Panizo. Robbie Robinson, I like him. I like what I saw in the preseason, but in the regular season, it did not transfer. Now, he's young, dude. You know this more than I do. How much patience should we show? How much patience will they show? And what does he need to do next year to kind of then start to justify the pick?
I agree with you that he's young. I agree with you that he's going to grow. And, at one point this season, I wrote as a suggestion to my thoughts that a loan maybe to Fort Lauderdale would have been in his best. Clear that he's very green. He's very raw. Not there yet.
That's how I feel about Reyes. To be honest with you, I think Reyes should have been making all his mistakes down in CF.
Reyes is definitely also a very
FTL. I'm sorry.
Reyes is also a very young, inexperienced player, and you saw the growing pains that he went through. He's on the defensive side, so those growing pains tend to lead to goals against, whereas someone like Robbie Robinson makes a mistake up top, and it just leads to not a goal, right? And it would be like, oh man, we blew it. The team will say that, but it doesn't necessarily stick with you because it doesn't end in a costly goal again. So, maybe Reyes should have gotten some more time. I think Reyes' case is more give him spot starts in MLS. Don't necessarily make him an every game starter. I think if he comes back next season, it's about continuing his development, but making him the third option behind Figal and Gonzalez Pires, because you need to put Figal back in the middle. He's not a right back, so the idea would be to put those two guys together in the middle. I think that would make one of the best tandems in MLS. And then as far as Robbie Robinson goes, he needs some more time to really craft his game. And I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Robbie Robinson. I don't know if the technical abilities are there in terms of the final third and being a forward that can give you that. I think maybe he'll end up playing out on the wing somewhere in his career. That's just my personal opinion on what I've seen. But either way, he needs minutes to grow. The way he's going to grow is getting playing time somewhere. I think Fort Lauderdale CF potentially. It's maybe next year he can get some more time down there if things are managed a little bit better, because obviously this year they couldn't send him at certain points because they were limited up top. They didn't get Higuain until the fall. Then when they did get Higuain, he kind of was in and out because he got a red card on one game. He was, he had the COVID issue towards the end, so they could never really say, all right, well, you can go. I mean, Agudelo also got hurt as well, so they had to have Robbie Robinson in the 18 or in the 20 match day roster as a just in case option, and especially with the 5 subs and everything. So
it's just when you see DK do what he's doing in Orlando and he falls to the 5th pick of the draft, and you're like, holy crap,
and
this guy.
See, and that's one quick question I'll add, or one quick talking point I'll add. There's people that have said, and this is just completely theorizing and just coming off the cuff, would Diego Alonso have wanted someone like Daryl DK had he been around longer to really understand what
I don't know.
The play? I mean, we don't know, right? But I mean, maybe he wouldn't have gone for Robbie Robinson, because Robbie Robinson, I don't know if that's a player Diego Alonso necessarily wants. He started the first 2 games because Juan Agudelo went down with an injury. Carranza was out with an injury. I mean, does he really rate Robbie Robinson? I mean, I don't know. We don't know, but I mean, I think someone like Daryl DK maybe could have been to more his liking, a big physical guy who's more ready for the professional game. But again, it's symptomatic of just the issues that Inter Miami had this season.
DK is that guy is that's special, dude. That's special. That's a guy that ends up in Europe.
He's with the U.S. men's national team right now here in Fort Lauderdale, training for Wednesday's friendly at Inter Miami CF Stadium. So
you'll be there?
I will be there. He's definitely further along the way than Robbie Robinson at this point.
Follow him on Twitter at Franco Panizo. Catch his work there at SBI Soccer, and of course the podcast, Miami Total Football. Go to the Twitter page, MIA Total Football. Follow it there. You'll see when and subscribe, and you'll get the warning or whatever, the thing that you, what is it? The
Warning, you're
or,
following Franco now, so
Yes.
beware for all bad hot takes.
Yes, yes, you'll get the deal that he posted a new podcast, which you do it, once a week, right?
Once a week. We try to do it once a week. Try to keep doing that in the off season. Maybe I'm gonna start incorporating some video, but if I do, I'm gonna have to ask you to give me some of these masks, or tell me where I can go find these cool masks.
Amazon.com, baby.
These little blue ones aren't gonna cut it, man, for the visual perspective.
You got to be stylish, bro. Although I'm dying to get one of these in Inter Miami style. I just haven't found it yet. Nobody's making it. We're making it. So
Speaking of Inter Miami Total Football, I'll plug this. We might have a little surprise on this week about maybe some gear that's going to come out next year. So just stay tuned to that. I might have gotten my hands on. I might have gotten my hands on a piece of Inter Miami gear that hasn't been hasn't made the public eyes yet.
there you go. Breaking news. So Panizo does plenty of that. Follow him there. Franco, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It's cool to actually do this in person. I haven't seen you guys since the season ended. So it's good to see you guys.
Definitely. Good to see you, my brother. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap. We're right here in Davie.
Because premium sport compact sedan is at Acura of Pembroke. And this is how we do it. 2020 ILX, $199 a month. $199 at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your family dental needs, please reach out to Moody's Dental. I've known Eric for a while, a big fan of our show. Call him at 305-821-0231. Whether it's you or your kids that need some dental help, whether it's implants, Invisaligns, they are the experts. Or if you're just looking to fill a cavity or clean your teeth, or maybe even get a crown, you are going to love the professionalism, the family-like atmosphere, and of course, when you talk about being clean, that's what it's all about in today's society. You are going to go to an extremely clean place. Go to moodyusdental.com, go to the website, follow them on Facebook and Twitter at Moody's Dental. Tell them that Big O sent you. 305-821-0231, or go to moodyusdental.com.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
Hey, it's Big O. For all of your CBD, THC, or hookah needs, you got to get on down to VSS West Pines at 12397 Pembroke Road. Yes, they have got legal THC. You've got to check it out. And they've got, of course, when it comes to CBD, flower, tinctures, edibles, for all kinds of reasons, whether it's pain, stress, anxiety, you name it. And don't forget, when you mention my name, you'll get 20% off. Tell the boys out there that I told you to get on down to VSS West Pines, 12397 Pembroke Road, and call them 954-613-3367. Legal THC, CBD, all of your hookah needs. You go to VSS West Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
All righty. Yes, sir. Hope you all are doing well. What do we have here on the chat board? Let's see if we got any questions here that y'all need.
Here, let me spread out the shot so they can see the wall inside there of all the wonderfulness of Kane.
Yes.
It's amazing, bro.
Richard says, Big O, Tua's thumb injury is a hoax. Don't it add up to a conspiracy? I guess that's what this world is nowadays. There's some of you out there that think everything is a conspiracy. You know what I mean? Ever since we had to start wearing masks, my beard is long. I look like Santa Claus, and I love it. I have to wear the mask that covers my neck and face. There you go. The good thing is you don't have to shave every day. That's the other thing. Like, I shave today, but tomorrow I won't shave. Like, I shave every 2 days now. Why? Because I have a mask on all day. I don't need to show my face. So today I shaved.
People like it when you don't.
Yesterday I didn't, actually. I didn't shave yesterday. It's like every other day is when I'm shaving now.
According to you, I never shave.
Yeah,
Thanks
you're
see,
completely
look,
unkempt.
See, unkept.
Yeah,
Look
there
at
you go.
Look, I shaved this
There
morning.
you go. Look at
What do you
that.
think about that? Huh?
There you go. You shaved. He did it once every 3 weeks. Chan Gailey does know how to implement running backs. He did so with Lamar Smith. I don't know who's Jim. I don't know who's saying he doesn't know, but he does. Andy Reid needs to go undefeated, be coach of the year. Casey's expected to win the Super Bowl. All right. Dolphins should use draft ammunition and draft Justin Fields. Tua's arm isn't an NFL arm. I compare him to Danny Werfel. No, he's got a stronger arm than Danny Werfel. It's just an awkward shot put type style, but he can throw it. He doesn't have a gun. And you don't have to have a gun because Joe Montana didn't have a gun. Okay? And neither does Drew Brees. And they're both first ballot Hall of Famers. Dolphin 13 says, on Tua, I believe he will learn to throw the ball with some finesse, meaning instead of always trying to throw a dart, he will learn how to lob the ball more, finesse with pinpoint accuracy. Let's see what else. I think to continue to build the cast around Tua next year, maybe use the Packers approach and draft a QB every year, just not in the first round unless Tua regresses tremendously or hip setback. I think they will draft quarterbacks down the line. I don't think that they'll only take Tua and then do what they did with Tannehill. I don't think that that's this front office. Let's see. What else? I think Tua is our guy, but we still should draft another QB. You need a 1A and a 1B today. Let's see. What else? I guess there's a lot of Tua talk. Thomas Cook says, hello, Big O from OKC. Thomas and Earl.
If you're if you're semi-smart, man, just for the other thing, how many teams have their guy go 1 through 17 every week and show up?
Yeah. No.
At some point, man, your second guy is there, and it behooves you to not develop him and turn in that, third or fourth, fifth round pick into a 1 or a 2 like New England has done many times.
I just think there's some of you out there that you're so desperate for a quarterback that you start reaching for this crazy-ass reasoning. The kid has more than enough arm to be an NFL quarterback. He has more than enough athletic ability to be an NFL quarterback. What he doesn't have is experience. And he has not had, and he didn't have an offseason. So we've got to give the young man some time to develop. That's all. And we got to stop with the frustrations. They're 7-4. They're going to be 8-4 after tomorrow. I mean, there's nothing to complain about with the Miami Dolphins. And that a quarterback is in developmental stages, it's normal. Everything that's happening with Tua is normal. That's what you have to really look at. There's nothing that means he failed, he's not the guy, it's the wrong player, he doesn't fit, can't play at this level. All that stuff is silliness, man. All that stuff is just... It's you guys, some of you, whoever's doing this, you're just panicking. When you're saying that he doesn't have an arm or that he can't do this or he can't do that, you're just panicking at this point. The kid has everything you need to be a hell of a quarterback in this level, but he doesn't have the experience. That's the only thing he needs, and that happens to a lot of players. That once they get the experience, they become a completely different person, a different player. Drew Brees didn't have any experience, and it took him 3 years for the light to go on. That's the way it is. So it might take Tua 5 games, it might take him 10, and it might take him 20. But at one point or another, the light will go on. He'll figure it out. That whole cliche crap that the game will slow down for him, it's exactly what's going to happen. Happens to all of you out there. You start a sales job, you don't know the product that well, you're trying to sell this and that. The older salespeople, they know all the products, they know all the ins and outs, the good, the bad, the history, all that, and they sell more than you. But as time goes on, that you learn all the tricks of the trade of all your products, pluses and the minuses, you then become a better salesman, don't you? That's the way it is. You know, you're a student that is lost at the beginning of the year. But as you get more and more of your classes, you become more knowledgeable and you become a better student. Everything is the same in life. Pretty much everything revolves around the word experience. You could try to learn to be a chef early on. I bet you a lot of your food, nobody around, okay, is going to taste really shitty. And it's going to be over-seasoned, under-seasoned, overcooked, undercooked. You're going to screw up a lot. I watch professional chefs, not that I watch it, but my wife and daughter watch it all the time, so I kind of run into it and whatever. And you see chefs, pros, that make mistakes and undercook stuff, right? So I would imagine if you start that, you're going to be a pretty crappy chef. And then eventually, you'll get it. You'll figure out what seasonings work with what foods get elevated with certain sauces or seasonings, whatever. You'll learn, and you'll become a hell of a chef and a hell of a cook. Everything is practice, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stop with all this panicking crap, man. You know, it takes a while. Eric Spoelstra is not the coach he is now his first year, right? His first year when he's coaching Wade and Rasul Butler and all those guys, I'm sure he wasn't nearly as good as he is now. It's the way it is. It's just there's so much panic going on right now about Tua, and it's because you guys are so desperate to have a quarterback. You're so desperate to win. You're so frustrated with the losing that's gone on the last 20 years that it's almost like you convince yourselves of all kinds of things, just like you convince yourselves that Tua's going to play tomorrow. Now, I got people still tweeting me to this morning, hey, let me explain to you why I think he's going to play. And it's like, you know, man, just do the math. And look, Lee Steinberg, I'm traveling down to South Florida to see Tua play. Now he changed it and said, I'm traveling down to South Florida to see the Dolphins play. Because now he was going to mislead people. You know, and it becomes a story. He's not playing tomorrow, man. It just doesn't make any sense. I would be actually, I got to tell you something. I would be a little disappointed in Flo if he played him. His lack of experience, an injury, lack of practice, and you're going to throw him out there, that's completely unfair. Okay? Even if it's the Bengals, it's unfair. But you guys have to relax, enjoy the process. I think I've told you this for a while. Take it easy, man. This is not the end of the world. Okay? Things will develop. Everything's developing faster than what we expected as it is. You know how blessed we are that we only had to go through one half of a really rough season? I'm sorry. It really wasn't. It wasn't a rough season last year. It was a rough half season. Because when you go 5-4 at the end and you knock out the Patriots and force them to play in the wild card round, I got to tell you.
God, that felt so
Wasn't
good.
it? It was awesome.
You know, dude,
it was the best feeling I've had in years for the Dolphins.
You know what I'm thinking back to, man? The only thing that sucked about that, you remember Monday morning right after was when the X thing came out and broke.
Right, yeah.
And it, like,
Right.
Man, we just got a little taste of happiness,
Right.
man.
Yeah,
and you
we-
kibosh.
Yeah, we ended up talking more about X than knocking out the Patriots and forcing them to play in the wild card round.
Let's say the situation. Look, man, Flo is good coach. Good coaches put their players in position to be successful.
Yep.
This week is not a position to be Tua out there like that. It maximize being, prepared. Come on, man.
Yep.
Come on.
Dolphins 13 says, Big O, I wish I liked soccer. I just don't have it in me. My brother loves the game, but it's not in my blood. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. Listen, man, not everybody likes hockey. Not everybody likes basketball. Not everybody likes baseball. Not everybody likes soccer. It's just the way it is. Not everybody likes MMA. Just the way it is. I get it. I'm an all sports guy. I watch everything. I like all sports. I follow all sports. I know that most people are not like that. And I say most people. I think I'm in the extreme minority that likes sports. I think most people are like you, my brother, Dolphin 13. I think most people probably dislike a sport or two that they just have no interest in. They don't want to watch it. And that's understandable. That's fine. And if you don't want to give it a chance, that's fine too. If it's just not in your DNA, you know what I mean? But it is a fun sport, man. It is an art that is incredible. It's like an offensive line when they're playing well and they're in sync and they're covering for each other and all that. It's such a beautiful thing to watch. When basketball and they're flowing and they're passing. I remember the Celtics could go from one end of the court to the other without the ball touching the ground. And, that I'm talking about the Bird teams. And that's because they were so damn smart that they could advance the ball on you by using their intelligence. And remember when San Antonio beat the Heat in 14? I know it was painful for us, but you have to admit that's some of the most beautiful basketball you've ever seen in your life. That's what soccer is at times. Soccer can be that in a game, in certain moments, in a set piece. And that's where you have to appreciate the skill set of controlling the ball with your foot. And men or women that can kick the ball and aim it like if you were throwing a baseball. Okay? I mean, there are people that they stand on a court and they kick the ball into the net, the basketball net. And that's the gift that these people have. And it's the same thing as watching Tiger, that golf thing that he does, that he hits it on the club, dock, 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 and then he hits it up in the air, and then he swings and whacks the ball 300 yards, that kind of stuff. That's what soccer is. And when you get to that point to appreciate how they control the ball like a hockey player controls the puck, which is another amazing gift when you watch the control of a hockey stick and a puck, which, they can go top shelf, they can go bottom shelf, they can go right in the middle, they can put it wherever they want, they can ricochet it off people. I mean, that's...
The prettiest in hockey for me is when the guy's got the puck riding alongside. He's just dancing around it like the way the soccer guys do with the ball.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're dancing with the ball or dancing with the puck.
Yeah, and they're kind of setting the defender up that's coming up because they're going to do a move on them. And that's what I would tell you that you need to do, Dolphin 13. Well, you don't have to, but you have to take a step back and understand what these athletes are doing and appreciate, that skill. And that's when you will appreciate soccer, okay? And that's why those of us that watch Inter Miami, we love Lewis Morgan because we know how important he's been to this team all year, how he has set players up. And, if you actually would have kicked in goal all the setups, he might have had 30 assists this year. That's how effective he was. And it's a gift that he has. And these are things that you will appreciate in any sport. the gift of boxing and being able just to manage the bag, period. That's amazing. But the gift of being able to move and hit somebody with combinations, everything about sport is about taking a step back and then understanding what they're doing, and then you will appreciate the difficulty of it. That's what it's all about.
This guy's so into sports. When the Pro Bowlers Tour left major network, man, cried.
There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Jim Gleason says, Big O always gets it. Yeah, that's not according to my wife. What else? What's up? Let's see. Big O, soccer is definitely growing on me, but I prefer European leagues to the U.S. ones. It seems like they play with more passion. Well, they're also better. You know, they also have the better players. So that's probably why you're leaning to it. And listen, they are what they are. They're the elite when it comes to soccer. But our league has gotten much better in the MLS. There's no doubt about it. But we got to support our league so we can grow it to the point that we can get the best players in the world to come here in their primes. So that's the important part. I mean, we got the best basketball, football, baseball, and hockey league, right? Let's get the best soccer league in this country, in this world. I'm sorry. Mike No Go Zone says, agree, Big O. I can't watch golf for the life of me. There you go. I'm not a big golf guy on TV myself, Mikey. I can maybe watch, the end of a tournament, like a big tournament, on Sunday, the last hour or two, and watch the last hole or two, a couple guys coming down the stretch. I can do that. But golf, I can only really watch it all day if I'm live. If I'm live walking around from galley to galley or hole to hole or whatever it is, and I'm following
hospitality tent to hospitality tent.
Definitely.
Back
Definitely
in
got
the
it.
day, man, my mom, John Alden, dude, the writer.
Definitely.
Doral Christie's was the tent. Oh, man, you want
Yes.
to talk about a happy guy.
Yes, definitely. No doubt. But, yeah, that's where I could do the golf all day, live, with a cigar, walking around. That I like. On TV, I'm not that big a fan of golf. Let's see. Jim says Fitz is teaching Tua how to prepare and win and at the pro level. Richard says, let's go with Fitz one more year. Let Tua learn. You already played him. I don't mind just getting him out there and start playing. Big O wifey is always walking around humming Big O show song. LOL. Yeah. The wife gets it. She loves the Big O show. That's it. We love her in the Big O show. Awesome. Tell her thank you very much. That's very kind of her. Hey, can I give you a twisted note? Because some of
We
you
would
out
expect
there,
nothing less from you, sir.
yeah, but this is not the twisted note that you would ever expect, because we have people that tell you, COVID's not a big deal and it's like the cold and this and that. Carl Anthony Towns' mom died, right, from COVID, right? You know that, right?
Bro, I saw this story, man. This is heartbreaking.
Did you know that Carl Anthony Towns has lost 7 family members to COVID? 7. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6. 7. Wow. Kat says he's lost 6 other family members related to COVID, in addition to his mother. Says, I'm the one looking for answers to try to keep my family well informed and make all the moves necessary to keep them alive. I mean, I just, how does that happen? How does one man have that kind of misery, dude? I hope Carl Anthony Towns wins 3 NBA titles. It's not going to make his family ever come back, his mom. But my Lord, he has got enough grief for a lifetime, for 4 lifetimes already. You know what it is for a pandemic to hit and you lose 7 family members? say, well, no, it's just like the cold. I want you to walk up to Karl Anthony Towns and tell him, nah, COVID's nothing, bro. It's just like the cold. 7 family members. My thoughts and prayers go to Karl Anthony Towns and his family, bro. That you talk about, 2020 is rough on all of us, okay? I don't care what kind of money Karl Anthony Towns makes. That doesn't make his life any
family and them losing aunts and a mom and the sister, like this is happening.
You lose one family member,
Yeah.
I get it.
It's horrific.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
7? Wow. I read that story and I could not believe it whatsoever. Have a heart, man, okay? Because that man has been through hell and back to lose 7 family members to COVID. The other story I saw was Emmanuel Duran. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you guys see the Texas high school football player that shoved the referee to the ground? Pretty much kind of it was a hit, basically, because he's a big-ass dude, comes running, and just sideswipes a referee because the referee had ejected him for, actually committing a dirty penalty on the field. So if you haven't seen the video, go look for Texas high school player hits referee, and it'll come up. Or you can put Emmanuel Duran, because that's kind of what he's going to be known for the rest of his life. So CBS now has confirmed that Duran was charged with assault after attacking the referee, which is great to hear. And Duran, by the way, also the referee was hurt bad. Duran had to pay the price with a bond set at $10,000. Okay, so we'll see if you want to check out the video, you can go ahead and check it out. But the referee was able to get up and walk off. I know he had some shoulder issues. I don't know what kind of long-term issues. They said that he may have been suffering from concussion-like symptoms in the process, which is understandable considering, you're an older gentleman, and here comes this young dude that's pretty big too, not a small guy, and he comes
5'10", 225.
Yeah,
he is a freaking fire plug.
Yeah,
bro.
he came running with some momentum, and you're just standing there and blindsided. That rocks you pretty bad. So
I told you reading the story. Listen, man, the kid's had a long run for a touchdown at running back. He's kicked a 51-yard field goal, and supposedly his wrestling coach said that he is in line to possibly win the state championship in wrestling in his weight class.
Yeah, he won't be winning it now.
You know what? I also heard yesterday, listening to ESPN do it, supposedly this guy's gotten kicked out of a game last year for this type of excessive, stuff. So he has a bit of a history with it.
All I know is he's a disgusting individual, and he needs to learn a serious lesson. And listen, I'm not saying that he needs to pay a price for the rest of his life, but there a charge and the bond and visit jail. That's a nice lesson for him to learn. And I don't know if they're going to allow him to play anymore this year, but I will say this: whatever he does, I would put him on double secret probation. That if any of this stuff happens again, it was
a playoff game. Supposedly, the team has been disqualified because of this. There is there is action to not penalize the whole team for this one idiot's action. You know what I mean?
Yep.
which I understand, man. There's a whole bunch of other kids that didn't do this. You know what I mean? But, yeah, this kid, I think the bond was set at $10,000. You know, there should be ramifications for this, no doubt.
All right. Speaking of idiots, Denver Broncos, we know they were idiots, right? Their quarterbacks weren't wearing masks, all that stuff, and they ended up getting that quarterback room polluted, and they lost all their quarterbacks last week, and a wide receiver had to play quarterback, right? You guys remember, right? The Hilton kid or Hilson or whatever the kid's name is, and hey, kudos to him. He sucked it up and did what's best for his team, and he was terrible, but kind of we all expected him to be terrible because poor kid, it's not his fault. Now the Denver Broncos are planning for something now. Just in case it happens again, they will be prepared because now they have a quarterback that is completely apart from the quarterback room and the team. And you'll never guess who it is. It's Blake freaking Bortles. Okay? So the Broncos have Blake Bortles now, and he will come to the Broncos facility after most everybody is gone. And then he'll get a workout in with Lauren Landau, maybe chuck it around. He won't fly to Kansas City with the team tomorrow, but he will be ready to fly in a moment's notice if needed. He's been in all Zoom meetings. So he is now they signed their fifth quarterback to the roster. But listen, and I have to take a moment to have some fun with this because, John Elway has been just a flat-out disaster on trying to find a young quarterback. And all I is that the flat-out disaster at quarterback continues by signing Blake Bortles. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, I get it that he's an emergency quarterback and all that stuff, but wow.
At least he has thrown passes in the NFL.
Yes.
Those other guys, dude, hadn't thrown a pass since their junior year in college. It was like, really? Wow, man. You would think you would have somebody on the practice squad, right? Somebody, man, that's thrown a pass.
Yeah.
Since before his junior year in college. I think the guy was actually a running back, wasn't he? And he just you know, had 7 passes his junior year.
Yeah, no, it was
somebody throwing the ball is better than the guy that's not throwing the ball at all.
It's funny, man. Funny stuff. Funny stuff. Blake Bortles is the emergency quarterback for the Broncos. That's some crazy ass stuff. All right, here's another story for you guys out there. You guys know that Larsa Pippen is everywhere, right? She's now banging Malik in the NBA. Malik, now I'm forgetting Malik's last name now, because damn it, what's his name? Anyway, so you guys know we've been talking about Larsa Pippen the last couple of days. Let me see. I think I have a note here from earlier in the week about Larsa Pippen.
I thought you were going to say you had from Larsa Pippen telling, hey, lay off me, man.
Oh, no, plenty of people are laying on her. That's not laying is not an issue for Larsa. Larsa can easily, Malik Beasley, there you go.
The horizontal mambo is definitely in her wheelhouse.
Yes, so, Malik Beasley's 24, she's 46. Malik Beasley is married, although he's separated, and they haven't gotten the divorce yet, but the wife was freaking out when she saw that, even though they're separated. And so Larsa cheated on Scotty with Future, okay? And Larsa was flying Future to her on Scotty's plane, okay? And Larsa Pippen has been banging all kinds of people. Right, so Larsa Pippen, as we now know, she's got a lot of mileage on the odometer. Okay, the odometer's probably gone around twice already at this point. And listen, she's a decent-looking woman. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I see Larsa Pippen, but knowing the usage rate, all right? Can I use a term that we use in basketball, when we start talking about, the analytics, the usage rate, well, we know the usage rate for Larsa Pippen is extremely high. And, I mean, seriously, is it McDonald's billion served or is it Larsa Pippen billion served? I'm not exactly sure. I mean, she could probably steal that part and just put her puss on it. That's her face, by the way. She probably put something else because she probably feels like she has golden arches. Anyway, as I digress here. So Larsa Pippen now is drawing the attention of another NBA baller. And see, this is the part that I don't understand. Like, she's been around constantly. Don't you want to hit something a little fresh? I'm just saying, Yeah. So former
Maybe
Bull
she's
star.
a freak, man.
Yeah. Well, no, she's definitely a freak. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Larsa Pippen must be great in bed. Okay? I mean, there is no doubt in my mind she must be phenomenal in bed. So we know Pippen and Larsa was married with Scotty, and they divorced and all that good stuff. So now an NBA baller named, what do you think? Carlos Boozer. So Carlos Boozer now, who, by the way, called Scotty once a liability, has been keeping his eye on Larsa. He is liking her pictures on social media, Instagram, all of that. They're like taking screenshots of Boozer's like of it, right? So Booz apparently is sending some messages that when Larsa is done with Malik Beasley, he'd like his turn. Again, Scottie Pippen Jr., young man, I feel for you, my brother. Don't feel like this is your fault at all. Your mom is what she is. What are you going to do, dude? It's not your fault that she likes to, she's hot-blooded, as a foreigner would say.
She likes the attention, man, obviously. As if you were like this, you'd think you'd keep it kind of on the down.
John Rouse says he should be banned for life, period. You assault an officer, you're out, period. An official, you're out, period. The only thing, John, the only thing is he's a kid. If he was an adult, then I'm with you. But he's a kid. Maybe he's got anger issues. I hope he gets some help. I think the jail and the bond and all that, it might be enough for him at the moment. And then you got to see what goes from here. Look, I think this already ruined his season as it is. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to be awarding somebody like that any kind of accomplishment, because then that'll reflect terribly on them. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's kind of hurt himself there. He's 18. I don't think any of us, unless you're talking about murder or rape or something, but I don't think that the mistakes we make at 17, 18, or 19 should then define the rest of our lives. I think you should be given at least one chance to prove that that was an aberration and that you can grow from it, learn from it, and be a better person. And then what I would do is with that guy is if there's another one of those displays in any way, shape, or form, then yeah, that's when I would be, blackballing his ass for life. John says he's old enough to know better and he has a history. No, you're right. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly all the history and stuff, so I don't know all his situation. I just don't want to define a kid by a stupid mistake at 18. Again, I'm not talking about if it was a serious crime, then I could go with you on it, but it's not a serious crime. You know what I mean? Folks, if you come on out here to Caneswear in Davie, we got 40% off of Inter Miami and Panthers apparel, so take advantage. Panther season's a few weeks away. Inter Miami is only a couple months away, so get some fresh stuff now at a discounted price. 20% all off Canes items also, and after you've made your purchase online, you then can use the code CWR10 for an extra 10% off. That's freaking amazing, man. So I'm telling you, you got to take advantage. Come out here to Canes. We're at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. See Brett and all the amazing people out here. I promise you, they will take care of you. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. All right, folks, we are wrapping it up here on the show. Thank you all. Did about 2 hours and a half today, so not too bad. We got to thank David Furones. Got to thank Alan Poupart. Got to thank Franco Panizo for joining us here on the show. Brett and all the amazing people out here for making it nice and easy. We'll be back here next month. Bill, great work by you, sir. Thank you for coming out here on a Saturday. And thanks
lot nicer day than the last time we were here. The last time we were here, it poured rain. You remember I got sick.
Yes.
I mean, dude, this day, look at this, man. Not a cloud in the sky, bro.
And we had some visitors today. Nico came
yes,
by.
Nico came by. Yeah,
Thank
man.
you,
Good
Nico.
to see him.
Panizo came by. Thank you. And
obviously seeing John earlier this week out at
right.
Toyota, man.
And
Thank
several
you.
other people that came by to say hi.
Yes.
A couple of you out there, I can't mention your name publicly because you might get in trouble somewhere else. But thank you. See you all down the line. You all be good.
Man, this
tomorrow.
Pippin girl could take some lessons from you keeping on the down low.
Yes, yeah. Well, she just likes to just get down low. I keep it on the down low. Remember tomorrow on Onside Radio, post game, Miami Dolphins, Bengals. I will have it for you. So join us on OnsideRadio.com. Download the MyTuner Radio app. That's what it's called. MyTuner Radio, not tune in, MyTuner Radio. And there's a second app, Radio FM. Both apps are at the website on OnsideRadio.com on the right side. So if you don't need to search for them, just go there and you can hit the Android or the Apple, depending on what you use. You know what I'm saying? If you're iOS or if you're Android. All right. I will see you all tomorrow doing a little Dolphins post game. Y'all be good as we complete the 7-day work week.
Go Canes.
Later.
Y'all stay safe. Till tomorrow.